with dreaming big.
Yes.
And actually seeing it happen.
Yeah.
Now, I think most people, they have a big dream in their heart.
Yeah.
I think less now, though, than in the past, which is kind of sad.
Right.
Like,
It's
I'm
crazy.
hearing less big dreams from people. And then less big dreams, but also, like, even people with big dreams still often never execute and see it through. Like, I'd love to talk through that, because I think, like, that is very sad to me, and it's going to hurt the kingdom of God by people, A, not dreaming big,
Yeah.
and B, even those that do, not following through.
Yeah.
And you've done a great job at, dream big, swing big, and actually, like, see solid follow through on those things. So
Yeah.
I think this could be really a helpful conversation to a lot of people.
I think dreaming big, honestly, it's a challenge.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people I was having this thought this week. I was driving to the gym and if someone came up to me and said, I'm going to give you, a 10-figure, 9-figure budget, how would you spend it?
You know what's crazy? I've never thought about a 9-figure budget.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, and then people would probably get so stunned, they would stay stunned.
Yeah.
And what they normally do is, okay, I've got all this, so I've got to make sure that I've got to steward this right? There's all those initial feelings.
Sure.
But then they're going to go and copy and paste what's already happening and doing, and then remarket it and call it new.
That's true.
Which is what most quote unquote dreamers do. They're just like, let's take a version of that and just make it our own. And I'm like, we don't take ground that way. And that, to me, has been the dream killer, is
Copy and
remarketing what's already been done.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm talking about, I always say it like this, instead of remodeling what's possible, let's remodel what's impossible.
That's great.
And let's dream on a level that is so offensive to my mind and perhaps the comfortable ones around me that it would cause all of us to shake before God and ask him, could this even be done?
So where's that from, though? Because people will hear that and be like, yeah, that's great. Lord, let it be me. But, like,
Bro,
how do you birth that? What's that look like?
Honestly, I can only speak from our vantage point, but let me give you an understanding of this. Maybe this will help somebody listening. When I was at CFNI, I was probably about 7-8 years in, and I'm walking down one of our hallways from my office, and I'm recognizing where we're at. I'm taking just in a wandering of my thoughts, just walking down a hallway, and I'm recognizing, man, we've got the right people now. We've got the budget tightened up. We're scaling. We're pacing like big. This is like, I'm in the middle of a book tour. I'm in the middle of traveling. I'm in everything, both personally and within the org at CFNI. It's all growing. And I'll never forget this. All of a sudden terror came over me. I mean, everything's going right. This is what you work to have. This is what what I prayed and fasted for
years. Yeah.
And now we've got it, right? The right people, the right positions, the right budget, the right vision. We've ironed out wrinkles. Nothing, it's not flawless, but it is a lot stronger, and we're running with thunder. And I'm telling you, dread and terror came over me. I'm like, Lord, what is this? And he said, you've learned to do this without me. Ooh. And I didn't know what that meant. I thought, what do you mean by that? You've learned to do all that you're doing without me. You started with me, but now you have gotten big in your own eyes, and you've started to learn the systems, the processes, the languages. You've got all the connections now. You've got everything. You've learned to do this without me.
Dang.
And I had to immediately take a immediate self-examination of my faith journey. Had I really needed faith in that season? And the truth was, I didn't.
That's crazy. I'm going to actually preach about this on Sunday.
I hope you do.
And I'm not stealing this, but
no, steal it all.
It's wild ready. Like Jacob, he runs from his brother.
So
Jacob,
true.
he runs from his father-in-law. Jacob goes back to meet his father-in-law again. What's he do? He sets up to run. And what he thought was his strength all along was actually his weakness.
And
so many people just lean into their strength.
So
but
good,
really,
Cody.
their physical strength, that is their weakest point. Because
So
now
good.
you don't have to trust God. You're so good at this, and you figure this out. Now, instead of reverting to faith, you revert to your strength.
It's all you're in your bag.
Yeah.
It's your tool set. It's your skills.
Yep.
It's your vision. And that, I got humbled. I'm humbled, terrored.
Jeez, yeah.
Recognized.
You like go home that day and
Dude,
be like,
yeah. And I'm like, I'm more
sit in
most
silence.
Dude, I'm like, yes.
All right,
silence
God,
in
I'm
a cold
sorry.
shower in the corner. Just with the,
dang it.
I felt like I had, like, Lord, did I hurt your heart? And in some ways I knew I did. And that concerned me. But I think for the most part, I had to recognize I need to do something that would jolt my faith again.
That's good.
And so, talking about dreaming big, I've lived the dreams out now. What do I do? And for some people, this may be small potatoes to you, but for someone who came up and I didn't grow up in a ministry family, I didn't have anything.
Running an entire Bible college is world renowned as small potatoes, right?
Well, I'm just saying, like, there's
Just- yeah, yeah.
people
No,
out
you're
there
good.
who are, they're leading C-level corporations.
Yeah,
probably
it's true.
listen to this, or people who are waiting for the next big contract, or they're waiting for the callback that would set them up on a 4-movie deal, or whatever it would be.
Yeah.
For me, it was like, Mama, I made it.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with dreamers, is they will dream, and then God will put a grace on them to get to that point. And then once they get there, they recognize all the sleepless nights that it took to get them there, all the blood, sweat, and tears it took to get them there. And they don't want to have to go through that again. So then they will jealously guard what they have and hold on to it and never scale it. And so I remember talking this through with my wife, and we had just paid attention, like, oh my gosh, that's it. And so wouldn't you know, it was at that point we were given huge opportunities within the organization. And bro, I'm talking like massive. And it didn't sit right with me, because I always measured, would it take faith on my part?
That's a great question.
And so talking to these guys who are always looking for the next thing, they're looking for the bigger church or the bigger position, and it's not taking them faith. It's all your skill set.
Yeah.
But eventually that will run out, and there will always be someone better.
Always.
And so we paid attention. Every vision, every opportunity, every job offer, everything that was being given to us, none of it seemed like that wouldn't take faith. I would know how to do that. Like, I would know how to do that. And so it wasn't until I got a call from Jedediah Thurner. And Jed's like, what are you doing with your life? And that's it. I was like, hey, Jed. Hey, bro, what are you doing with your life? That's how that call went. Jed is built different, and he's a brother. Like, now, like, I would take a bullet for him. But I was like, where is this call going? And I said, I don't know. I feel like I'm in a season where I need to pay attention to what's going to cause faith. And he's like, what do you want to do? I said, maybe I'll lead a church. Maybe that's just the next step. And he's like, why don't you come and lead the Capital C Church with us, and let's stir vision, and let's take nations, and let's move.
Sign me up.
Yeah. And as he was sharing the vision at that time, it was Missions Me, One Nation, One Day, which is our international footprint. Then he started talking about America, and it's like, we've got a glimpse into something here in the States. And bro, it burnt. I could feel, boom, that was it. I didn't have all the answers. I remember the first 9-12 months in the org, I would often joke with the guys, like, I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't know. I'm so far out my league. I am so far outside of what I'm doing. And I'm only saying that to all the guys that are listening and are wondering, should I take the job? Should I look for another place to go? Have I run my course? Everybody's like, is the grace lifted? Sometimes the grace lifting isn't the grace lifting. It's just, you got corrected. You didn't like it.
Yeah.
You don't want to change. You need to be humbled. That's not grace lifting. Pay attention. Will it stretch you to a point where you have to do it with him, with God?
great.
That's what I would say to dreamers. That's probably why we're not seeing a lot of dreamers out.
Yeah, well, I also think, a lot of this generation is filled with anxiety and a fear of failure. And they might have the dream, but they'll never let it out because they don't want to look bad. They don't want to look like they're not there. They'd rather post on their stories. They'd rather post on their Instagram and make people think they're doing big things. And they have a dream in their heart that is like dead and dying.
That is just
because they'd rather look good.
They need that comes with the territory.
It's true.
If you're going to do something that's never been done, get used to people making fun, talking trash, and I'm not talking about randoms, the people closest to you.
Right.
Like, man, there were some people, we've gone through some stuff, and there were people who I thought, man, these are my day ones, or these are people that are close to the vision, or these are people that are carrying it with us. They were first in line in a firing squad. And does it make me distrust people? Yeah, but I can't let the offense do that. Come on, we're all pastoring. We know exactly what that's like. I'm going to love because I'm going to be as unoffendable as possible. Let me say something. I just won't say his name. I met with a father in the faith, a true general in the faith. And I'm in his office, it's just him and I. And I had two questions. The first one was, why do revivals end? And the second one was, how do we build in covenant relationship? All right, these are random questions, it would seem, but they're linked. And he did a study on why revivals end. And he said you go look at every mass revival that produced harvest, signs and wonders, everything. It all ended because of offense. Someone within the revival, people got offended, opposed, different perspectives, and it died. And he said it's the cancer of revival. Offense. When people get offended, they leave. And we as an org, we had to work through, like, you've got 5 guys on an exec team who could easily go lead their own thing.
Sure.
And we've just chosen covenant relationship. You've got people that come in and out of the org that cause some problems. And we've got to, we're always very careful about how we talk, and because we don't want to end up in offense, and then we just kind of, we kind of coast here, we level out here.
Yeah.
And I think offense has taken out a lot more dreamers than they realize.
That's good. That's really good. Offense has taken out more dreamers than we realize.
It's true. It's why people don't dream anymore. They think about the people who church split.
Oh, yeah.
They dream with an offense.
It's true. It's true.
It's what they do.
It's true.
So I like, and then of course the other question was covenant relationship. He said, and that's how you sustain it. When you sustain covenant relationship, you are choosing to guard everything that God is giving you, and then you will sustain and scale.
So define that, a covenant relationship. What's your best working definition on that?
Maybe it's not a definition. Maybe it's more like a way of life.
Okay.
There's a difference between contract and covenant, and I'll say this: there's contract, covenant, and right in between that is camaraderie.
Okay.
Okay. So contract says I can only have a relationship with you if I agree with you. The moment that you do something, say something, become something that I disagree with, we part ways.
Okay. Yeah.
That is not biblical. God is not a contract God. How many things do we have going on in our lives right now that God disagrees with? Yet he still wants a relationship with us.
Yeah.
So we can't choose contract over covenant, right? Camaraderie is we have a common enemy.
Yeah.
And I'll fight with you for this purpose.
Yeah.
But as soon as that stops benefiting me, you're utilitarian at this point, and you dip. And I think a lot of relationships end up there.
It's true.
As long as we're doing this together, and yeah, I love you, bro, and you're amazing. But as soon as it stops benefiting me, and it only benefits you, I've got to back out, because I've got to be the watchman on my wall. I got to be, all this Christianese.
We're really good at making things
so
sound
stupid.
Good, right?
Honestly, I'd rather throw up in my mouth and eat it.
That's gross. Or off a train.
Yeah. Let me clap with poop in my hand. That would be more fun than hearing somebody tell me, oh, I'm with you. And then as soon as God starts probably adding more strength to our side of the vision in this season, it's like, oh, you know what? I got to take a step back. And it's not, you got to take a step back. You deal with jealousy.
Yeah, it's jealousy.
And I have not changed. Nothing about what I'm doing has changed. So, and then when I see it swing over to you, I'm celebrating that.
Right.
So there's covenant, there's camaraderie. I'm sorry, there's contract, camaraderie, but covenant is a lot different. It means I didn't make an agreement with you. I made an agreement with God for you. And so I made an agreement with Dominic Russo, Jedediah Thurner, Matt Sheehan, Gabe Bauhorn. I made an agreement with God that we're going to run together. So if I have any issues there or any issues within the org, that's not where I go. Right now, I'm not talking about leadership wise. Obviously, I'm like, hey guys, we got to iron out a wrinkle here or something. No problem. Or they got to come to me and go, hey, we really need you to smooth out this edge. No problem. Right?
Yeah.
But who I talk to is God. I made a covenant with him. And I think that is why we have been able to run at such a pace and rhythm that, I mean, you know the backstories. We are shaking nations.
Yeah.
We are watching God mobilize the church. And I'm saying we is not like us five. I'm talking about the church. We are actually watching we as our platform, the local church, not ask the local church to platform us. We are seeing all of that because we chose covenant, not contract, and definitely not the counterfeit of camaraderie.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of where
People mistake that a lot, though.
Huge.
They
right?
mistake that a lot. And that's where you get burned. Is there's another better opportunity here, or like you said, I'm not benefiting anymore, and they're gone as quick as they came.
Going back to your leading question, that's what kills dreamers too.
It's true.
Is dreamers, they don't realize their dream is not really what they're dreaming. There's a bigger plan. Okay?
Sure.
Like, let me just put this in perspective biblically. Abraham's like, I need a son. God's like, I know you're dreaming about a son. I'm dreaming about a nation.
Yeah.
You see the difference? So even though the son is part of that process.
Count the stars. That's crazy. Yeah.
Go outside, count the stars. So he's like, I want a son. God's like, I'm not even dreaming just about your son.
Yeah.
I'm dreaming about your nation. So I've got to recognize on his end, he's not just dreaming about love has no limits.
Yeah.
He's dreaming about nations.
A generation. Yeah.
Yeah. A generation that will know God.
That's great.
And so all I've got to do is play my role in his dream. And so when I live in covenant, I'm now a part of his dream, and I'm just playing my lane. And guess what? I don't have any thirst to be anything that I'm not. I don't have any desires to go and do something that I'm not supposed to be doing.
Well, that's the nice thing about dreaming is now you're not chasing. You're not chasing something else.
Oh man!
That when you get there, you realize this isn't actually what I thought it was going to be, and you're still empty. But when you're dreaming, you can build.
Right.
And that's the fun part.
And
that's the enjoyable part.
The fun part is you get to take the risks together.
Oh yeah.
And that's a part of killing dreamers as well. I feel like we're writing like a 3-point sermon as we're talking. But I think real dreamers are risk takers.
Have to be.
And the moment you stop taking risks is the moment you begin to die as a dreamer.
Well, I think like everything the Lord asked people in the Bible to do, it was a giant risk. You know, hey, move to this land I'm going to show you. That's a giant risk.
Yeah. Leave your family.
Walk around these walls 7 days in a row and then shout.
Speak to the
big
rock.
Risk. Yeah.
And we'll water
Speak
millions.
to Pharaoh. Like,
jeez.
All of these are giant risks. Like, oh no, like Pharaoh's going to kill me. I'm a wanted murderer in the nation. And I'm going to go back and be like, hey, we're not even going to talk about the murder. Actually, let everybody go. Like, that's pretty crazy when you think about the context of it.
It's true, though. I agree with you. Or even Mary. Like, he finds Mary, and I love her response. Be it to me according to your word. Like, what a better what is there? Is there a better response?
Well, how many people, they hear the dream and their response is not that?
No.
Well, God, I got to have this guarantee, or God, only if I get this paycheck,
and that's
or God, what if I fail? God, it's always the negative side of the what if.
It is
the need of a guarantee and not a trusting who God is.
You know what I've found as watching what you guys have built, what other God's putting on other people. People who take risks, it may not be perfect and pretty, but there is so much wisdom gained from taking the risk and living it out that if God would bless you with a second run, which most of the time he does, that you would get that so well delivered
True.
that you would have grown and in some ways surpassed your former self.
Oh yeah.
because you took the risk.
Yeah, I mean, we're living in that right now. We had a guy who we did the Rochester Citywide outreach last year.
Yeah.
We put it together in like 5 or 6 months, and I thought it was a long time. Like
Yeah, yeah.
there's a lot of time to plan.
Yeah.
And the other guy's like, you should take 18 months and this, and we're like, man, I'd rather just do it. Like
Right.
I'd rather just shoot our shot, see what happens. We'll learn along the way, and it was aimed at souls. And it's crazy. Like 60 young people came to the altar,
Come
gave their
on.
life to Jesus. And I'm like, man, if we would have waited 18 months,
That'd have been 60.
what would their
something.
story have been?
Yeah.
Would they have heard the gospel in this
True.
timeline? Like, I'd so much
I
rather
guess
take the risk.
That's the tension, right? Like, how'd you navigate the tension of, okay, we do want to do this with excellence, right? That's the whole.
Sure.
We don't want to have an excellent spirit. It's the spirit of
People aren't
excellence.
going to know you as
Yeah,
much and
yeah,
all this
and-
stuff. And it's like,
But then at the same time, you have this urgency.
yeah.
How did you navigate that?
I think we just knew in our heart, like, this is what God asked us to do. And not everything is going to be perfect.
Yeah.
But I'd rather make the eternal win than, like, people, like, the perception of a win for other people. And the eternal win in my eyes would be, well, people gave their life to Jesus.
Yeah.
And I also think, from my perspective, if someone takes 18 months and like, hey, this is what we're going to do, and obviously there's scales to this, but
Yeah,
like
yeah.
we're just doing like
Yeah.
one city, one event. But if you take 18 months, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, and we're building a relationship for 18 months, and you can trust me, you can trust me. There's a timeline where I'm like, are you ever going to do this? Like, I'd rather gain trust by doing what I said I was going to do. And I think the gaining of trust was like, no, we're going to come to this city. We're going to put our money up. We're not going to ask you for money. We're going to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ. We're going to get kids connected to your church.
So smart.
And, how can you trust us? Because we did it one time when you weren't here yet. So this time you can trust us.
Yeah.
And it's cool. Like, man, entire networks are opening up to us for this round because we built trust last round.
And I think that's kind of the tension that, like, you're describing. I think a lot of people are like, well, I have this urgency. And sometimes it's not urgency, it's just passion. And we don't make the
Sure.
best decisions when we're so in our passion.
Sure.
And so we need somebody to come and go, okay, if you really want to do this to the level that you're describing, I think you need this much runway, 18 months, 24 months, whatever. Right? Like, we would go into nations and it would take us the better part of 2 years.
You're doing a nation.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, yeah.
Yeah,
but
that's
I'm,
massive.
But would I want the souls tomorrow? Yeah.
Yeah.
But, there's that tension and you're feeling it. Even when we go in the cities, it takes the better part of about America's significant cities, journeying them to a place, which I don't know if that's even fair to say, but let's just say we all journey to a place where we can run together. Like, some of these cities, bro, what God's doing, he's going before us. And
Well, I think
he's already
part of
creating.
it too is
Yeah.
like you have a rubric.
Yeah, we have, yes.
You have history that
It's
these
trusted.
major leaders can see and be like, oh, it works.
Yeah.
These guys do what they said they were going to do.
Yeah.
And that's not just man, that's the favor of the Lord where it's like, no, they've stewarded this well. And
I think, and I've always said this to my kids. I've said this to, like, sons and daughters of the Lord, but definitely my kids. I'm like, people change around two things:
yep, I've heard you say this.
power and money.
Yep.
That's it. It's like, as soon as they're not, the influence comes, they change. And I'm not talking about for the better. And money.
Yeah.
As soon as they start, what I love about our team is we've seen God put his hand on us and promote us, and they're still the same people.
Yeah.
Now, we might be in different rooms talking with different people, but I don't consider like, oh, I've leveled up, because I go home to the same woman,
There you go.
and I go home to the same 4 kids and a dog. Like,
Yeah. And you still show up in Horseheads, New York.
and like, I'm still, I don't care about all that.
Yeah.
I do not care.
Yeah, yeah.
I've had the books. I've been on the TV. I don't know what else everybody else wants. I'm sure I've done some version of it, and I just want to be effective and faithful.
There you go.
And I think that's what you're describing is, I think people sense that when we come in the city, like, we're just really here because we
Yeah.
love the local church, and we believe it's the most sustainable vehicle of transformation in any sphere of society. That's why.
It's great.
And you know this, we don't take up offerings in any gathering we do.
Yeah.
You know how many pastors' gatherings we've done? We've done 68 stadiums around the world. How many? You'd be surprised the rooms that we get to be in. We've never taken up one offering. Our heart is just to be in postured that we are going to be a blessing to the city. That's it.
Love it.
And we faith fund. Like we are
Yeah.
just believing God for the revenue to come in, and it's really, it comes in and it goes out.
Yeah.
And we even to this day, we are doing more right now with a smaller staff than ever before in the history of the org. And it's not because we don't have the money. It's because we want the true resources and that financial leadership that's been ceded to us.
Great.
We want that to be given to the cities, to be given to like churches that have never done outreach.
Yeah.
You know, let's create some micro grants and help them find their footing and do some outreach. Who does that?
Not other nonprofits.
Only the
most
Lord.
of the time. Yeah.
Right? So I really wish we'd have more dreamers who execute. I know this is really deep. I'm not even sure what kind of podcast we're going for here, but
No, I'm here.
I
love
feel
it.
like I wish we'd have more dreamers who would just go for it.
Mhm.
I mean, I know the Bible says weigh the cost. I know nobody goes to war without knowing, you know, I get
Yeah.
that. But I'm talking about when you feel moved in your spirit and you feel the urgency, but also the tension of the excellence factor, and you try to find a nice middle.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, most of the time we lean towards the excellence factor, thinking, okay, we'll become a sharper leader in 18 months, or we'll learn some things. Some ministry, city discipleship, city transformation, it is you build the plane while you're flying it.
Yeah, it's like having a kid, right? Like, no one ever feels ready.
No one.
But you figure it out as you go.
We are too addicted to being ready.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
No.
It doesn't happen.
Never. I've never watched anyone go, okay, I'm ready now.
Yeah, and they might have thought
does
they were
that?
ready. Like,
And then
there's
you're
people
not.
like, we're gonna make sure we have the right budget, and then they do, and they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize it really wasn't the money that mattered.
Yeah. Now I got to learn, and now I got to have some depth, and now I got to have the right people, and
Yeah,
You
there's
know-
so much more to it.
that I think too. You know, I appreciate the org we have now. Love Has No Limits was not Love Has No Limits, and before that, our international footprint, One Nation One Day. It was Dominic Russo Ministries, and I appreciate Dom's posture to say, I need to take my name off of all of this.
Wow. Yeah.
Because if we're going to platform the local church in these nations and not put our names on anything, I might as well take my name off. And humbled himself.
That's crazy.
Bro,
Love that.
And I don't know if you'll ever hear this, but I'm always inspired by his level of humility and his daring trust in me or Gabe or Matt or Jed, you know, to be like, we're brothers, we're running together. Like, there's never been...
Huge.
I've never had a power play in the org. Bro, it's the first org I've never had someone come over the top and go, no, we're doing this because I said. Never had that. Never had that.
What is it? It's like, hey, we're gonna pray it out and talk it out till everyone's happy.
Let's pray process. Let's pray process. Let's pray process. And I think I've held up my, like, hey guys, I got a red flag on this a handful of times. And the response has always been, all right, let's pray and process that one. And we take more time. Let's pray and process some more. And then I'll come back and go, or one of us come back, all right, let's pray and process some more. And many times it's covenant with God. So
Yeah.
God talked to us how we run together. And then eventually we all come to a consensus. And now all of a sudden we're running with so much unity and vision. It's beautiful. It doesn't mean we don't have tension either.
Sure.
It doesn't mean that we all don't have different ideas and approaches, but there's been this trust that we've gained in each other. I stay in my lane. I'm not trying to ride in someone else's lane in the org. I stay in my lane.
Yeah.
If they're in the room and I'm not, I'm still in that room.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? And I'm good with that. Whereas previous orgs or churches, I would be like, if I'm not in that meeting, they're going to come up with something stupid, and I need to be there to make sure that they don't, because that was the pattern, not with this.
So kind of what I'm gathering from what you're saying about like dreaming big and actually seeing it through, it requires an insane level of laying down yourself.
Yes, and that's what I was driving towards. I'm glad you caught that, bro, Because it's true.
Yeah.
I have watched. I don't have the social media presence that most people do.
Sure.
I have just as many relationships, if not more.
Sure.
I don't have. Um, let me say it like this. I have found that hiddenness is stronger than visibility. And it's amazing. The more I choose to be hidden, the more opportunities come, the more vision comes, the favor of God to end up in the areas that we end up working side by side with the
Right.
people would never believe that we were actually journeying with. And I'm not talking about they're all faith based. I'm talking about people who are not faith based who love us. It's amazing how hiddenness, and I think that's a secret sauce element. Stay hidden. There, why is it 90% of Jesus's life is hidden? We only have a record of 3 years out of his 33.
It's true.
Why is that?
He wasn't building a social media following.
No, he wasn't. He didn't have
That
a
wasn't
YouTube
his
channel.
ministry?
No subs.
It's crazy.
Like, subscribe, whatever.
He just let his effectiveness.
You know
prove who
why?
he
I
was.
honestly think God kept his first 30 years outside of 2 or 3 moments, maybe 4 moments. We have Peterson, the oldest being like 9,
Yeah.
right? Is because God was saying, I need you to have a relationship, not a routine. Because if we would have known everything Jesus did for those first 30 years, we would have made it about
Pattern the whole thing.
Exactly. And instead, what we see is a few glimpses of his development as a young man, and then boom, at 30 he shows up. Cast your net on the right side of it. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And I think it's like an iceberg effect. I talk about this in our curriculum.
What one?
Kingdom Identity.
Which you guys should buy on his website.
I'm telling you, it's phenomenal. And a lot of people have helped shape that in me. And I've read a ton of books on identity because I felt like there. Let me back up. At the time I was building Kingdom Identity, there wasn't a lot of talk about identity. Now,
Yes.
there's books everywhere
Yeah.
about identity. But when we were writing Kingdom Identity, there was like a handful of things. And I was graduating students who knew what to do, just didn't know who they were. And so they would burn out. And I was like, why would they burn out? We trained them well. And then the Lord spoke to me. He's like, you trained them to do something. You didn't train them to be something.
There you go.
And I was like, there's a big difference factor there. So we wrote Kingdom Identity. And there's an iceberg law. This is clinical. You only see 10% of an iceberg.
Habitudes. Tim Elmore
There you
uses this in Habitudes as well.
You only see 10%.
Yep.
The other 90% is what? Hidden.
Yep.
And that's why they say glaciers, floating icebergs are the most dangerous thing on the earth because you don't know when they're going to rotate.
Expanding, yeah.
And they can come up and they will capsize boats and cause people. I mean, it's dangerous to, as the Titanic, it's dangerous to be around, right? So, and the principle in that is 10% of you should be the visible part, and 90% of you should be hidden. Because what we have today is 90% is visible.
Oh yeah.
And so that's why we have no depth.
It's true.
Look, can I just go off on a soapbox? I am so tired of showing up to youth conferences and people preaching cute messages and they have no depth. Because then I get backstage and they're cussing up a storm, making demands like the team is their personal assistant for the weekend. What needs to be, and you wouldn't pick up on it, but they're the funny person in the room. They're the life of the room. They're drawing everything gravitates around them. I've got to be the most important in the room. And I'm sitting over there going, I can notice insecurity says I'm 90% visible.
Yeah, that's good.
10% hidden. Pride says I'm 90% visible, 10% hidden. Self-promotion says I'm 90% visible, 10% hidden. You flip that doing the kingdom math, humility says I'm 90% hidden, 10% visible. You understand what I'm saying? Like there's a different, and the only soapbox I'm trying to make here is I am tired of people, and I'm saying this as someone who has been traveling now for almost 2 decades, speaking to youth movements all over the world, who cares deeply, fasts all the time. I am really in a place of frustration. We cannot be like this anymore. There's got to be an authenticity to your life that nobody sees except maybe your wife and your children.
Yeah.
That's got to happen.
That scares me for them because at the end, like, we're going to be judged
Yes.
for the intent on why we did things.
Buddy.
So you feel real good here.
Wood, hay, and straw.
But that conversation in judgment is utterly terrifying to think about. Where it's like, it goes back to Luke 9:25. What's the profit of man if he gains the whole world but loses his soul?
It's true.
To stand in front of God, and it was wood, hay, and stubble.
Yeah.
All for what?
It burnt up. And what you got is what you got, and that is your judgment seat of Christ's reward.
Yeah.
And just so you don't know what we're talking about, there is the great white throne judgment, and there's the judgment seat of Christ. The great white throne says whether you knew Jesus or not, and then you pass into his blessing, right? You pass into heaven. But then after that, you have a judgment seat where you will be examined off of everything you did on the planet, and that is the reward you are stuck with for eternity.
Yes.
So you don't get to take your YouTube channel into the judgment seat of Christ. You don't get to take your
intention-
podcast.
You take the intentions of it, though.
Your intentions are judged, not your following, not your view count.
No, none of that will ever impress God.
It is the motives of your heart. So this is why I'm saying, I'm frustrated because I'm like, I don't have any social, compared to what most people, I don't have the social media presence that people have. I don't have it, right? But I'm watching people pump hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it's all about them. Now, I'm not against it. I am not against it at all. I have tons of friends that are Christian influencers. I have tons of pastors that do it right.
Sure,
That all kinds of, but they are not pointing at them.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. And I think when you start pointing at yourself, you're killing the dream. You're killing the risk taking. It's all about you. And I these are areas that I had to wrestle with too. I'm not acting like I didn't arrive. I had to kill this stuff in me too. But it took wilderness seasons, humbling conversations, fathers and mothers calling me to the carpet, discipline, correction, my wife telling me you can't be like that, my kids going, Dad, it doesn't sound like you anymore. Like, I had to have that. And I had to overcome myself with the Lord. I had to get before God, examine me, comb through my heart, latch onto anything that doesn't belong there and pull it out of me. I just want to be yours. And I don't care if the world knows my name. I don't care if people follow me. I don't care. I know that you'll take care of me. I know that you'll provide for us. I know that you'll open up the right doors when it's time. I just need to be so effective, and I want to be reliable to heaven.
Love it.
That's where I'm at.
Love it. Let's end on this.
All right.
If you were to talk to the youth pastor, the middle school pastor, the young adult pastor who's hasn't been dreaming, they've been stuck, scared, not sure what to do, what would your statement to them be?
First off, I would say thank you for standing in that space. Middle school, high school, young adults. God bless you for standing in the place that you are being used with whatever you might feel like are crumbs. And it's just like the little bit that I got. And I remember taking over, and we didn't have, a lot of kids in our youth ministry.
Yeah.
When I say a lot, there was a time where we only had like 5 or 6 show up. Like, I remember those days. I would tell you, do something that would be so outrageous to you. I don't need you to do what I'm doing right now. Like, the Lord had to build us up to this. Do something outrageous. If it's like, I remember outrageous for us was, let's do a My One Night.
Yeah.
And everybody here bring one person with you, and we're going to go after souls that one night.
There you go.
And you're going to pray and fast that each one of your kids bring someone. And we did. And it was the biggest attended night every time we did a one night, because everybody just took that on. I'm going to invite one person that doesn't know Jesus, or that I've been praying for, or someone at church. And then that's great, but take the risk. Condition, disciple your heart with risk. Not comfort, not easy wins, not low-hanging fruit. Take big risks. And don't just have a plan to succeed, have a plan to fail. I don't think a lot of people do this. What do you do when you fail? When you fall, or when something didn't go right? Do you beat yourself up, or do you examine yourself going, what could we have done better?
There you go.
Is it, what would I do different? Now knowing what I know, what would I do different? Have your plan to fail. And a lot of people don't do that. And so if you're going to be the risk taker, at the level that you're at, whether you're the worship leader, the outreach pastor, youth student director, whatever it might be, I want to challenge you. Take a risk. You have 90 days. In the next 90 days, take a risk. If you don't, I'm telling you, this thing will just get more dormant on you. Take a risk. Even if you don't have all the alignment pieces, the funding, just start building that thing. Take a risk. A man plans his ways, the Lord directs his steps. What that means is a man will create his plan, and the Lord has the right to override any of those plans and give you a step. Maybe it might feel like a side quest or a rabbit trail, but it's still part of the plan.
Amen.
Give God something to work with.
Amen. Awesome.
Yep.
Well, hey, thanks for hanging out. I love you.
Absolutely.
If you're watching, we love you guys. You can jump over to Uproar Leader, uprleader.com. We have a bunch of content on there to help you how to build teams and courses and this. And we'd love to help partner with you and see you be more effective for Jesus. So we're excited. We love you. We'll see you soon.